Welcome to this very special edition of Vantage Point. On this Christmas Day 2012, we want to examine some issues about ourselves as a people, as a nation, as a country, some of which is going to be painful for some of you to watch and listen to. But to all of us, this is essential examination of issues, of challenges, of the strengths and the weaknesses of ourselves as a people, as we search for this very elusive thing called living in a free society, living in a safe society, and most elusive of all, probably, searching for that thing we call justice in our society. Because when we became independent in 1978, these were the things we took for granted that would come automatically with that new status. But it didn't take long for us to realize that justice, security, democracy, all these wonderful things only come to a people who are prepared to struggle and work hard for them. Today, Christmas Day 2012, we're going to hold a conversation with someone who's been, in his own way, in the news, not just recently, but in an earlier life, as a magistrate, as a chief magistrate in Dominica. But since 2010, Mr. GON Emmanuel and his dear wife Greta have found themselves at the center of a very disturbing, very challenging, very troubling set of events, which we want to revisit in the course of this conversation. Because in a real sense, what it does, it is a microcosm of our struggle for justice. So I want to welcome Mr. GON Emmanuel, who has opened up his house here in Santa Roma to us. Thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Emmanuel. And we are going to be exploring with you some matters which I know will be a bit painful for you to talk about, but nonetheless are essential for us to talk about. And we're going to take a short break right now, and when we come back, we will commence our conversation with Mr. GON Emmanuel, we're trying to get inside of his mind. How has he managed to survive over the last 2 years in particular of his life, since that fateful Christmas morning in 2010, when his home, himself and his wife's lives were placed at risk as a result of a firebombing that occurred. We'll be right back after this message from our sponsor. Welcome back. Welcome again, Mr. Emmanuel. Thanks so much for allowing us into your home here at Santa Roma. I guess it's remembering how it was 2 years ago. And today, Christmas Day, kind of must bring back not fond memories, but painful memories for you. I wonder if you can help us understand what it's been like for you over the last couple of years, since the firebombing of your home, since the terrible experience that it must have been for yourself and your wife Greta, to wake up to the sound and smell of burning vehicles, burning furniture, burning home. Let's start by you telling us, how have you managed? How over the last couple of years in particular?
Well, it has been difficult for both of us. My wife even more so. As for me, I am the breadwinner for the family, and this event left me rather skint. My approaches to life was that you never put all your eggs in one basket. So we had savings to carry us through till we depart this world. We were unfortunate in having a colleague who actually, I would put it this way, who actually robbed us. Because monies, we had it in the practice, the law practice, together with him, and the idea was that the money or the profits would be shared at the end of the period. I woke up to find that monies which were to be paid to the firm, fee income, was being diverted elsewhere. There were accounts all over the place, and in fact his instructions were clearly written: pay so-and-so into accounts which we knew nothing at all about.
Okay, you're speaking, of course, of your former partner,
My former partner,
Stephen
Isidore, yes.
Okay, all right.
Now, as a result of that, we found out that a lot of money was missing, millions was missing, from fee income and from income tax and VAT, so and so.
Which had not been paid.
Which had not been paid.
Okay.
And he was actually using my VAT registration number on those things. The money wasn't coming here. He was he was sending the money elsewhere, having it credited to other accounts. But the VAT remained for me because he was using my VAT number, my VAT registration number.
So creating a serious liability
for
for
me,
you.
yes, because the VAT people would come to me for
Absolutely.
the money.
Okay.
Now, with all of this now, I went to the bank to find out, well, which is this first one that I found. Who was the payee of this money? The bank says it is private business, they cannot tell me. So I went to the police to find out, well, for help, because I mean all my money is gone. And
this was in 2010?
2010, yes.
Same year. Okay,
yes,
that's when you discovered these discrepancies.
Yeah, when I discovered that.
Yeah.
And my assistant at the time, a young lady from Jamaica, tried to show me the work that she had been doing along with Isidore. Only to find out that those files were stolen. I couldn't do all of them in one day, and I said tomorrow morning I would do them, and when I came back the next morning, they had vanished. So I went to the police, and no help.
What was the reaction of the police when you reported this first incident?
Oh, they couldn't care less as to whether they were on the previous instructions or the mere fact that I was mentioning that it was so and so doing this. They couldn't care. When they left the meeting room, they all shook their heads and said, "You haven't got a case. You haven't got a civil case, much more criminal one."
So here you are reporting, loss of money from your accounts. Here you are reporting somebody
lots of fee income as well.
Abuse of your VAT registration number.
And nothing was done by the police. They thought that I didn't have any case.
Okay.
So, as a result of that, I thought of consulting local lawyers, but nobody would take it.
No local attorney
No, because it was felt that I ought to have gone to the Bar Association in Dominica, which in my opinion doesn't exist, and not to the police. Whereas I considered that the theft was so manifest that the police had to be brought in because it was criminal.
Because you were reporting a theft?
Yeah, I was reporting a theft.
Okay, right.
So I had to get help from outside. I consulted counsel outside from another island. And counsel asked for the papers. And the next thing I knew was that he says that there were 42 criminal charges which could be leveled against this man and ought to be leveled because everybody wanted him out of the profession.
Okay. And so that is when you filed?
That is when I filed it. I filed on instructions of counsel.
Okay.
Who felt that this is the only way to deal with a matter like this. It was so grave.
Now, what happened after that? Let's just recap for the benefit of the viewer.
Well, after that, after this matter took place, I can't remember which came first. Is it the bombing of my house or we had to appear in court on the 6th of December when the charges, the 42 charges, are to be read to this man. That is to say, the usual commencement of committal proceedings. Not required to plead, but the charge will be put to him, the charge will be put to him and so on. And we sat down for an hour or more in the court downstairs. Mr. Isidore didn't come. The magistrate didn't ask for a warrant or anything like that for him or anything like that. Then, to our great surprise, he came down with a group of other lawyers. And they handed the matter to the document to the magistrate, which forbade us from pursuing the matter at all. From any magistrate. No other magistrate could hear this matter at all. And they wanted a judicial review of this matter.
All right. That was in December, early December
Early
2010.
2010.
Okay.
But
And-
we persisted because we wanted this matter tried.
Of course.
So I think it was decided that if we couldn't proceed with the criminal charges, we could then go with the civil charges based on the same amounts.
The money missing.
The money missing.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. Okay. And then,
And then now I went to bed. Christmas Day, 24th, we went shopping and so on. Came back home, and then we bought chicken and pork and all sorts of things. 2 big fridges full of everything. 3 o'clock in the morning, I was woken up by about 3 or 4 explosions. What was exploding, I don't know. Whether it was the tires outside or the tires inside or what. And on the 4th time, I said, well, I have to get up and see what is happening. And I got up, looked outside, and I saw the whole side of the house on fire.
okay.
The garage, the car blazing and everything. So I called out to my wife, went out and called her, I tell her, the house is on fire, get out, let us get out.
Okay.
And
you got out.
I went downstairs to make sure that the door was open for her to get out, and she got out after me and so on. And I went up and down this road, up and down, calling, fire, 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 someone help, fire, fire, come on, so. The neighbor next door came, Mrs. Piper came, and Mr. Green, the next door, came, and so on, so on. And then Mr. Green phoned the fire brigade.
Okay.
And they came, and they started to put out the fire.
Okay.
Meanwhile, of course, I had already noticed that a drum outside of the gate, right inside the gate,
In your driveway?
In my driveway, yes, and I smelled it was petrol or something like that, you know. So I took that down to Green, to Milton Green, and told him, well, look, smell this and tell me what you think of it. He told me it's petrol or something like that. Where did I find it? I told him it's right in my door.
Right, right. So what, you handed it over?
To the fire brigade fellow right there.
Okay.
And right. And look, this is what I found in my house. So we would take it, you know.
Okay.
But one of the main things that happened then was that whether it was anxiety or they don't exactly know what the hell they were about, the fire brigade actually left when the fire was not out. It was only half out when they left.
Now that's odd. That's the first time I'm hearing that.
Yeah, it's complete. They left. All the vehicles are gone.
And the fire,
and then, it is then the fire started.
Fire was still burning.
Oh, no, but it's still burning. It was terrible. That's what I saw. I said, oh my God, my house is gone. They were not here.
Okay.
So I rushed on again to Green to call the fire brigade, let them come back to put on the fire.
Did they come back?
Yes, they came back. But this is one aspect of the whole thing that I hear nothing at all about.
Okay. Well, frankly, this is a revelation even for me. I never realized that they left before the fire was out.
Yeah, I wondered if these foolish people ever put it in their reports so that the superiors in the fire brigade system can see it.
But even at that time, under that severe stress, was it clear to you then that this was no accident?
No, actually, there was no accident at no stage.
Okay.
I had no shoes, nothing at all. Luckily, this woman's husband had already died, Mrs. Piper, so I could get an old slipper she brought up. She said, well, put that on, because I couldn't get into my house.
But the explosion sounded like what? I mean, you're an old army man.
Oh boy, the explosions were terrible. The house was shaking whenever these things happened. And I said, I heard about 2 or 3 in my bed.
Okay.
But you know, Christmas morning, you probably had to do that, so you're not getting up. But when the 4th one came, I said, well, no, I must get up and see
check it out.
Yeah,
Okay.
I must check it out.
Right.
And then I saw the whole side of the thing on fire.
Right.
And by the time I came out the front door here, the house was very gone.
Your recollection of that morning seems very vivid, very detailed.
Yes.
And that seems to suggest that any account that you might have shared with the police or your lawyers would have been even more vivid,
yes,
more detailed. Yes. I want to take a break now, and when we come back, I want to start asking you to reflect on how has this affected you, this incident that occurred. Of course, you gave us the history of it. How has it affected you? How has it made you behave over the last couple of years? And what have you tried to do? And we know you've gone to the police, you've gone to the media, you've made several requests for justice, for the matter to be dealt with efficiently,
in court, yes,
and so on. But when we come back...
Without result.
Right. And when we come back, let's explore not only what you have tried to do, but more important, how has it affected you and your family and your wife? Okay? Let's take a break for a word from the sponsors, and when we come back, we'll continue this conversation, the next phase of which will be kind of getting into a bit of how has this affected Mr. Emmanuel and his wife. We'll be right back. Welcome back. This phase of the conversation with Glenn, with Emmanuel, we want to sort of get a little more personal with him, a little more inside of his head, so to speak, because you know, the incident that he's described, you would have imagined that would have unleashed or released the full weight of the justice system, the police and security system, to get to the bottom of this. Why is this happening? Why the home of two senior citizens living in a suburb of the capital city of a country can be, you know, attacked, can be firebombed, and 2 years later we're still waiting for justice to be found in this matter. We're still waiting for the system to say, this is what happened, this is who is at fault, this is who is not, these are the victims, these are the perpetrators, and so on. So, Mr. Emmanuel, as you sit and you listen to what I've just said, and you have, of course, been paying attention in the media to what the response has been to your pleas, to your request for help, how has this affected you? What is your reaction to the lack of reaction?
I really couldn't explain. All I know, it was a terrible, terrible incident in our lives. My wife just couldn't understand it, and she kept on telling me, when I meet this man, I'm going to really try and tear him to pieces, because I can't understand how all our equipment and things that we had from England and America, whatever it is, all of that was completely burned down. The house is completely done, and she can't sleep, and I can't sleep after 3 o'clock. We automatically, something just wakes us up. We can't sleep.
But you're an attorney, you're a trained lawyer, and you are trained to be part of a system that delivers justice. Here you are, now a victim of an action requesting, literally begging for the justice system to come to your aid at this time. It does not appear to have.
It never came. No.
So, what has this changed you? Are you happy still to be a lawyer, to be part of the legal fraternity?
As far as I know, I've given up now on this legal business as to who is to come, the bar association, the this and the that, and so on. You know. It's all of no effect now, because the lawyers, as this fellow said, are quite content with taking their fees and to hell with the country. And whatever happens in the country doesn't concern them. It doesn't matter. Once they can get their fees and so on, and it's all it is.
But you know, I mean, we pride ourselves on being part of the countries of the world who say we have a democracy, and a crucial part of democracy is the rule of law. You know, the right, you know, to sort of get your day in court, to be considered innocent until proven guilty. All of these things that you grew up learning, teaching, etc.
All of that I taught law for a year after I left school and so on, university.
But it's not happening.
It's not happening here at all. No, it's not happening. I don't know if it ever exists. It's never happening at all here. It's not only a republic. It's nowhere. It's nowhere. It's no. There's no law from that point of view at all.
Is it your sense that there are your colleague lawyers like yourself who are of that same view that the system is not working?
Yes, some of them are in it, and they know it's not working. Some of them are in it because they've trained or something like that. But a lot of them feel that, of course, it's not going anywhere at all. You know, of course, they can't come out and say that.
But this is what I mean, you anticipated my question. If there are so many who believe that it is not working, what in heaven's name is preventing them from coming out? You have come out.
Number one that preventing them is they get what are the things that the other side gives you to when you want to get a car and so on. You know what I mean? They give
enticements.
Enticement, yes, and so on, or you feel that this person won't send any work to you if you say this, and this one is that, and so on. So they're all afraid of their skins.
But what about the police then? Why would the police not engage vigorously in an investigation that gets to the bottom of this?
Number one, untrained. Number two, just callous. Number three, blatantly stupid. You asked me the three reasons.
Yeah.
They're blatantly stupid, and you can't imagine. You can't imagine. They can't see anything at all. They can't see. And as for the chief of police, a fellow called Carrette, oh my, he's terrible. I don't know how we can look at the evidence which we have so far collected in this matter and still not proceed.
Because you have the case of a gentleman who is publicly confessed to being the one who lit the fire to your house.
Correct.
Some gentleman, he confessed, he went public with his confession, he interfaced with the same Stephen Isidore, who was your partner before, and sought to get payment for having set fire to your house. And yet, in the face of that,
oh, the police wouldn't prosecute. In the face of that, they wouldn't prosecute it. And he told me so in my face. That is the fellow, the so-called culprit, fellow called Dennis Shillingford.
Yeah.
He said that. He told me that. But I realized, of course, that he was put to it. You know, he never knew me before. He himself says that he never knew me before. So there'd be no
so somebody hired him.
Yeah, he said that somebody hired him. He told me the name of the person who hired him. And so on and so on and so on. But the police knew all of that.
Okay.
And they've yet taken no action whatsoever.
Can you imagine why, in the face of such overpowering
well, the why is that they want to protect. They are part of the whole thing, and they want to protect their backsides. That's what it is. They know the whole thing, that if one starts to squeal, then the whole thing will come down.
Okay.
Because in this whole system, or in the incidents which happened to me, there are several other incidents which would lead on to it, and you'll be able to see the whole monkey thing come down. So they rather not talk, they rather defend each other. And that's what is happening now.
There's been a very kind of strange twist to all of this. We listen to sitting ministers of the government of the day, including the Minister for National Security, including the head of the government, the Prime Minister, including other ministers, on the public media, attempting to make you out, Mr. Emmanuel, as being the one who set fire to your own house, who perpetrated the crime against yourself and your wife. I mean, what do you make of this?
Wickedness and stupidity. First of all, they tried to hang on to the fact that the house was insured. That came at loose because, of course, they lost the house. The house is not insured. All right. They went on from there that I wanted to kill my wife to get the money, kill the house, break the house down, and short it to get the money. To think my wife. My wife and I are still here. When that lost her. The next thing they took was the petrol in the thing. The Dennis shoes had petrol, but they wanted to find out what kind of petrol it was, and that fell through. Then they went on again. The next baby that they had was the telephone conversations between Denny and whoever it was. That doesn't seem to have worked for them. The latest thing I know is that they were saying, of course, that the car which I had, which for one whole month after the incident, the car was dead.
But it was completely destroyed.
Completely destroyed, because Adler Hamlets was the one who came and saw it. They started to say, of course, when I sold when I sold the car, I had nothing to sell anyway. But then,
they said you got rid of the evidence.
Yeah, I got rid of the evidence. That's the whole thing. And they've been going jumping from one rubbish to the other. They just don't know what they're doing. They're all off. And they will not prosecute. And several officers have come to me, and even when for the whole month here, the house was open, the yard was open, everybody came in. I believe they must have taken 100 pictures.
Absolutely. It was all in
the place, everywhere. They came in, I never stopped anybody coming in and so on. And the police is saying at the end of the time that I had not cooperated. And my wife had not cooperated, and so and so and so and so and so. When they were showing the evidence, the statements that was made. And the police have written statements.
I'm watching you and listening to you explain what must be some really angering things.
Oh, it is terrible what I say, and the lies.
Yeah.
That they, with the aid of their counsel, how men like that can say that they're lawyers?
But you know, what strikes me, Mr. Emmanuel, is again the clarity, your logic, and of course the intensity and the passion that you bring to this. Of course, because your life and your wife's life involved. That would seem to suggest to even an untrained person that, my gosh, this gentleman really does know what he's saying. He's really got the facts. So there must be other reasons why this case is not being prosecuted and pursued to the fullest extent of the law. And it's very, I think a lot of members of the public want to understand that, because it just doesn't make sense.
They know that, and they come to me and they tell me so all the time, members of the public.
Yeah, yeah.
And right now, the latest thing, of course, is the meat minister and told me, give them candle. Buy a ballet.
That's a new calypso, I understand.
Yes. Oh, there's been terrific support from my side of the whole thing. You know, they realize, of course, that if this is their Dominica, their island, the nature island, they really cannot live with it in these circumstances.
But they also realize that, you know, if you had been making up a story and trying to sort of weave a web of deceit, you would have collapsed by now.
I would have collapsed, and I wouldn't want any inquiry into it.
Absolutely.
But I am the one forcing. I want the inquiry. I've asked for a judicial inquiry, for a special inquiry, for a nationwide inquiry, any kind of inquiry, for somebody to look into these facts and see what's happening. And the police have not been cooperating at all. They're the ones who have not been cooperating. There's something that they want to hide, and they want to hide someone. They want to hide someone who was materially involved in getting the money, which Isidore was taken from mine.
Absolutely. Okay, let's take a break. When we come back, we're going to continue this conversation, and you can see that notwithstanding all the pressure that he's been under, Mr. Emmanuel remains absolutely in control of the facts of the matter. And that, I think, should send a really important message to the rest of us who think that we're under a lot of pressure. But none of us have been visited with this kind of pressure that the Emmanuels have, and yet he maintains his balance and posture. When we come back, let's explore with Mr. Emmanuel some other aspects of this really painful experience that he has been through. We'll be right back. Welcome back, and this is the third segment of our program this evening, Vantage Point. And in this segment, with Mr. Emmanuel's permission, I'd like to suggest that let's visit the Emmanuel home as it is today. And let's look at the footage which documented and recorded the damage that had been done by this fire. And let's begin to appreciate exactly what has happened and what happened on that fateful Christmas day in 2010, when the Emmanuels were awoken to the sound of explosions in their yard, in the garage, and eventually a fire which consumed most of their house. So, Mr. Emmanuel, with your permission, we'll take a walk through your home, and then you'll show us and tell us, you know, what we have now and what we had then on that fateful morning. Okay. So, we're going to do a walkthrough of the Emmanuel home right here in Santa Roma. Well, Glenworth Emmanuel, that fateful morning 2 years ago, Christmas Day, what was in the garage?
The other car.
Yeah.
The other one.
What was the state of the car?
First class, yes. My cars are usually from here to my office, 2 miles, and they nearly knew. They knew.
But that morning, when you woke up after...
Oh, that morning you couldn't make it out. That was, I think, it was just a shell.
So let's take a look. There's the garage.
Oh, yes, all of that was burned down. All of that was burned down.
Where's your room? Your
my
bedroom?
Room right here. This one here.
This is your bedroom.
Yeah, this is my room, my bedroom here.
Okay. So you heard noises, explosions.
And I looked through that window here.
You looked through that first window.
First window here.
Okay.
And then I saw the fire, the blaze, and the whole side of the house. Was
alight.
Consumer light.
Okay, all right.
And that was completely, well, you couldn't see through that because the car was there. The whole of that place was enveloped in fire.
Right.
But that room here had gone.
The room behind?
Yes, that's the front quarters, the maid's quarters, that's completely gone.
Okay, all right.
But
what we're seeing now is the restored.
Yes, that's the restored thing.
Because this was, I recall,
completely gone, burned, completely
blackened
burned down.
and scorched and everything.
And this was completely burnt and it was terrible.
All right. And then we want to, right next door to the garage is your kitchen.
Your kitchen, yes.
Yeah.
that's where, then he says he started the fire.
Right here.
Yes, then he says that
In
when he
between
came
the
here,
wall and the
kitchen, yes. And from here, he threw the gasoline perch or whatever it is within the glass or whatever it was, and he set the thing on fire.
And then
and that's where he says that when he caught fire, it was so sudden that it burnt his arm. He said he had to just out.
Okay, all right.
Just out.
And your kitchen was completely burnt out?
Completely burnt.
I remember this electrical, this where your
completely gone,
everything was
completely gone there as well. All of that.
This is the living room.
Yeah, living room. Yes.
It was completely
completely, yes.
All the furniture.
All of that was burnt.
The wires were all
over the place.
Yeah. Okay.
And 2 big fridges were there, burnt out completely, all over. And of course, you can see all of that is new.
Yeah. So this is the restored kitchen.
Restored kitchen, restored cupboards, restored sink, restored everything here. Even the television is one we took from my wife's room.
Okay.
Brother was the one that was there, completely burnt.
From here, this is your dining room.
Yes.
What was the status of your...
completely gone as well. Burning water, fire and water here in here.
So this is new furniture?
No. Yeah, but it had to be redone again.
Okay, you had to restore
it. Oh yes. Okay. But you can see the danger, some of it was damaged because this can hardly close again, you know.
Okay. All right.
Well, this was gone. This had to be rebuilt. Because you can imagine all the lovely ways that we had in there.
Okay.
God, the heat just burst the glasses and everything like that.
Yeah, they melted.
Melted, because that's where the old cupboard was. Yeah. See, just melted completely.
Okay. All right.
All of it melted.
Fortunately, your walls were made from blocks, so they held.
But all of that, in fact, the big television was here.
Yeah.
Was completely destroyed.
Okay.
The room. Oh, you can't imagine this.
So, did you manage to save anything?
Part of some of the things were saved.
1 or 2 pieces of furniture.
Yes, an expense.
Okay.
And all little paintings that we had here. Paintings all over the place. They're so damaged that we can't put them up.
Okay.
We had to. You see, if you look at them, there are things that in my travels all around the world we see. You see water, water damage, all of that there. You see.
That's in Barbados. See a picture of Barbados.
Yes, and here you got the smoke and the water. The thing. They have several of them here.
Okay.
We can't use them. You can imagine it will cost me to get them repaired.
To restore them.
To restore them.
Yeah. That's a very highly skilled art. Okay. Yes. What about now? This is the room where you had to stay for over a year and a half.
And here was the dining room.
This was your dining area.
And the kitchen was this.
Okay.
Kitchen after the fire.
All right.
The kitchen.
All right. And so after the fire, you occupied this. This was your home.
This was my home. That was my home.
Yeah.
My home.
A bedroom.
A bedroom and home, everything. Sitting room, dining room, everything.
Yeah.
Everything is here.
Okay.
And so for a year, we only lived here. There's a little table there, and that's where we had our meals. And the little kitchen was there.
Right, and
nothing else.
Bedroom and bathroom.
Everything. Okay. The bathroom over there.
Okay. What about upstairs? What was the damage like upstairs?
Oh, well, everything on that side had gone.
Okay.
The only thing that was saved, but for water, was my wife's room on this side.
Could we get a chance to see upstairs?
Yes.
Because you have restored it, but we wanted to give the visitor a chance to see before and after.
Yes.
You know. And okay, so we're inside now. We're on the second floor.
Now. Yes.
And this is another living room.
Yes. Water damage.
Yeah.
Complete. All over here, water. All this is new. All this is new.
Okay. So you have to replace the ceiling.
Yes. For smoke.
Yeah.
If it was not burnt in smoke and water.
Yeah.
And this is my bedroom, of course. Come in and you see.
So this is the room in which you were asleep on Christmas morning, 2010.
Yes.
Okay, this is the room, and this is the window
from which I saw the fire.
You looked out.
I looked out here.
And you saw the fire.
The fire, right?
Yeah.
In fact, the whole side of the house coming up, all that
was in flames.
Oh, it was in flames.
Okay.
And all this was gone. You see, all this was gone. All this here. This gave the man the plumber, so much trouble to get that fixed, you know, because the pipes underneath it had melted.
I see. I see.
Because the fire was from downstairs, below it.
Okay.
So, I mean,
okay, so this had to be completely restored.
Completely restored. It's a hell of a job for him.
Okay, okay.
Hell of a thing.
All right.
And all here, of course, water and smoke and so, you name it.
Damage.
Damage.
So this is the porch.
Yes, it's the back porch.
Back porch.
Yes, that's the back.
And underneath here is the garage.
The garage, yes. Right. Underneath here is the garage and the maid's quarters.
And the maid's quarters. Okay.
Yes.
So actually, where the car was
underneath
is underneath
there,
this section.
Yes,
the car was underneath.
Under this section.
Okay. All right.
Under this section. So that had to be retiled
completely,
because all the tiles had
the heat.
Risen the heat and brought them up.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
All that.
All right. Well, it seems to me that this should give people some sense as to what you had to do to restore your house.
Yes, and some comfort, you know,
and to create a sense of comfort for you and your wife, so that in fact, actually, you can continue to live here.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Welcome back, and this is the final segment, and by now many of you have seen and maybe have a much more acute appreciation of the extent to which this gentleman's home was destroyed. You've seen the footage of the house after the fire, and you've seen the work that they've done in the last several months to rebuild their home, so that they can live in some degree of comfort and some degree of safety. The fact of the matter is, there are not too many of us who have ever in our life been through something like this, and I would hope none of us would have to go through anything like this. So, Mr. Emmanuel, as you reflect on the damage that was done, and you've restored your home, did you do anything wrong by restoring your home?
No.
I'm listening to the media chat, and it seems that some people are almost accusing you of, it
has been an uphill struggle,
yes,
to get the place back and, to live, well, semi-comfortably. Because, of course, for nearly a year and something, we lived in one little room. Because the kitchen was gone. All the other rooms were filled with water and smoke and you name it.
As we saw,
the fire brigade were pumping water in and so on. But it's terrible. I don't think I can ever explain exactly what happened. The tiles were getting up from the floor right through. Paintings were on the ground, and
things that you considered really valuable and important to yourselves.
We lost
You've lost
three televisions. One in the kitchen, the big one here, which I got from the thing store, the Muslim store, and the other one again in my room upstairs. That was completely gone.
So everything was gone.
Everything was gone. Everything was gone.
Okay, but now you've kind of given yourself a sense of normalcy.
But then it has been an uphill struggle money-wise.
Absolutely.
Because you see, as I said when we began this interview, that one usually set aside certain things. You expect that your pension will continue from England. You see, my pension is continued. So we would rely on this, so a little pension on it. But besides that, of course, you would have a little nest egg in your account.
But not to rebuild your house.
No, not to rebuild my house, because my house was built already.
Absolutely.
Completely.
Built and paid for.
Built and paid for. There's no mortgage or anything, any of the houses. So when this thing happened now, this fellow went with all files and so on. So
which fellow?
Isidore. Went over the files, and he even stole books that were not his.
Okay.
Stole. And added to that, besides the fee income, which he was diverting to other sources, there is evidence that he got a checkbook, an extra checkbook, and was filching money away from the account.
So a non-authorized checkbook.
Non-authorized checkbook.
But was using it to draw money from the company
and the accountants have said clearly that this was so. And also, you see, at the same time now, I had a good substantial savings in Clico.
Okay.
And that went.
So you had lots of things coming at you at the same time.
And I had, of course, the wife to maintain the house and so on to maintain. And it has been a struggle.
It has been a struggle. But somehow, Mr. Emmanuel, I watch you, I look at you, you're what, 80 how much years?
80
years. You're a strong bugger. You're a strong guy.
I was in the armed forces, remember that?
Yes.
I served in the armed forces.
Yeah. So the discipline of recovering from, adverse circumstance seems to have served you well.
And having lived my years, all these years, and you see what happens. You see what to people, you know.
Yeah, yeah. But as you look back now, if you had to advise Dominica, advise any country on, hey guys, if these things, unfortunate as they are, happen, here's how you should deal with it. What would you say?
Yeah, but you see, you can deal with it in other ways. For example, if what happened, there was not this connivance and this conspiracy, one in my position could have picked up easier.
What you're suggesting is that, notwithstanding the presence of a legal system, a justice system, a court system, if there is this conspiracy, if there is this connivance with powerful forces, political forces, commercial forces, professional forces, to ensure that certain people make it and certain other people are excluded.
Correct, completely.
No justice system can handle that.
And Mike, you see, when my car was burnt, I went over and got a new car, another car, thinking, of course, that my savings in there was quite all right. Only the fact that
it wasn't there.
It wasn't, because I had used it to build the house back. You see the position?
Yeah.
And in fact, the banks which you expected to be able to support you, were involved in transferring your money, your fee income, at the instance or at the instructions of this man elsewhere.
And not once.
And they knew that was not your account.
But did nobody call you and say, Mr. Emmanuel,
never.
We're seeing a pattern here.
They were all in his backside. You see, they couldn't care.
These senior politicians.
And I have paid for it because in a lot of cases, you see, when he qualified, I had to arrange for him to be trained in Trinidad to get about 6 or 9 months there, and I was flighted with my friend Amor.
That's a part of the story most people don't know, that you facilitated his training.
I bought the gun, I bought everything for him. Equipped the office when he came back down, because it was our house here.
Yes.
I did all of that to help this young man to start off.
Right.
And in the end, is a kick in the backside you get.
Absolutely.
You see?
Can a law system, a judicial system, a legal system?
Yes, a fair judicial system could do that if you didn't have, but even on the bench you have idiots. You don't know what is happening, with them. It's terrible.
Because most recently, there was the judicial review decision was to have been handed down.
Yes.
But unfortunately, after almost 2 years?
8 years, almost a year and 8 months,
waiting for a decision.
The judge decided that he was going to opt out and not to give the decision, and that is further delay. And they're all hoping that I would die.
Okay.
You see?
But it sounds to me like you're planning to outlive all of them.
I would like to. I would like to. And people, in fact, if the greetings that I get and the wishes that I get from the public meant anything, I would live to 120, 130. But everybody said, stand up, Mr. Emmanuel, stand up. Don't let me kill you, stand up, And recently we had that craze of somebody with 59 bullets.
On their way to Dominica.
On the way to Dominica, And they wondered whether I was one of them.
You think your name was on one of those bullets?
Yes.
What advice would you give to young attorneys? Here you identified a young attorney, helped him through law school, kind of gave him the benefit of your years of experience, you mentored him.
And was congratulated by several people from his area.
For having done that.
For having given a young man from that area
a chance, right.
And that's what turned out to be.
What would you do that again with a young lawyer?
Oh, I don't know. I couldn't tell you that. Because so much so that I've gone to Jamaicans, or 2 Jamaican girls I had showing me to help. Yeah. Probably the girls might be more sincere. We just don't know. Yeah. But I've gone through a terrible and agonizing experience with that young man.
Emotionally, personally, how do you feel? Are you okay? Do you feel there are times when you're not in control? I mean,
Yeah, well, well, sometimes month end I feel the strain because it
have
was
to figure
nothing. I had no problems in paying off because we had all 4 houses were all paid off. No mortgage to pay, nothing at all. Our car was paid for, and
no bills.
children in no bills at all. And then things was easy.
Yeah. Where do you want to see this end up, Mr. Emmanuel?
Oh, I want to see this end up with. I would like this man to be in jail for what he's done to me.
Yeah.
I would like that.
Okay. On that note, let me, on behalf of Mr. Emmanuel and his wife Greta, wish all of you, all of us, a very safe Christmas, a very prayerful Christmas, very joyous Christmas, this 2012 Christmas. In spite of all the things that have happened, in spite of, there are lessons that we can draw from his life and how he and his wife have managed to deal with adversity. There is a God. There is a prayerful path to which we can turn when we need to. And evidently, he has found his path to remaining strong and resilient in the face of enormous adversity. And we, Mr. Emmanuel, on behalf of all the well-wishers, I wish you and Greta really a joyous Christmas, a peaceful, safe, quiet Christmas with your friends and persons with whom you would want to spend this important time.
Thank you.
Okay. On that note, folks, thank you so much for being with us on Vantage Point. We will see you at our next program.
Thank you.